almost 50% last year. This year has been a little bit better, about 12.5% to the upside, yet the volatility is still there. Yesterday, we finished off the market around $62 a barrel. Over the weekend, we finished off around 67. We were hoping for a 70. The market is now locking that crude price around 62, 65 a cycle. In terms of what Nigeria's national oil company is doing, the NNPC says yesterday that the current pricing is not a price slash, quoting the Nigeria National Petroleum Corporation, but says it's an alignment, quote and unquote, based on the price volatility at the marketplace. That's the statement issued yesterday by the NNPC, considering what it's currently doing to get those volume of tankers of crude oil sitting on global waters to be sold. Out of June, we still have about 15 vessels unsold. If you combine that to what we had before, we had about 52 vessels unsold. If you put that together, Nigeria has more than 50 vessels of unsold crude inventories around the world, and that is a major issue. Now, as we have heard earlier, Iran is getting into the game. Saudi Arabia may also increase its own output. When that happens, you'll find more oil in the market. But of course, OPEC, there's the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, is sitting down and say members should do nothing until the next meeting. The last meeting was on the 5th of June. Harriet.
Well, it's not interesting times. I wouldn't say that.
Not
it's not
an interesting time. However, for countries like Nigeria, based on some analysts, we're not yet in too much of a difficult situation yet, because yes, there's a glut in the market, even at the premium. Don't forget, you'd be the budget benchmark around $53 a barrel. We're selling at 62. So even if we sell at 60, we still have a bit of a haircut. So we can do a bit of 35 cents, 50 cents down per barrel, and we can still get those vessels off into our buyer's hand. But the question is, who buy this crude?
Yes,
now,
because you mentioned that we have about 52
in,
vessels that are still sitting idle and waiting for someone to buy.
If we can get them off at $60 a barrel or $61 a barrel with a bit of a haircut, fine. Then we can sell this, then we can bring the money back. So in terms of where this leaves us in terms of foreign reserves, yes, we're still in a good situation, but in terms of pricing. However, who buys this crude from us with the volume that is lying around?
That's a very, very big question. So I'm going to throw it right back at you. Who do you think is going to be buying this crude? Because we've got the U.S., you know, with the shale, U.S. shale oil
gas production,
and gas production, and we've got Iran coming back on stream. We've got Saudi Arabia also looking to boost its own production, and so we're going to have a major oversupply in the global market.
Where the only opportunity you have is to look at refineries around the world who will be buying them. Indonesia is waiting to buy some of this crude oil from us at some premium, because it's a very high quality grade oil we have with the Bonny Light and the Quaibo and Focados. So these are top grades. We can sell them to these refiners. They can keep them in and do whatever they want with them. But again, they have a lot of other exporters who are trying to get into the same market. So Nigeria is not the only one. The key question right now is that how much price cuts, how much lower is Nigeria willing to go to find buyers to take this stock off our hands and get us back into, get a cash in, produce more. And again, don't forget, whether we sell or not, we have to keep production in place. So we're producing, there's an output, but we don't have buyers at the other side, so we have very high inventory. It's a little bit of a problem, but in terms of revenue, from the revenue point of view, we're not yet in the red yet.
We're not yet in the red. So
not yet in the red.
But then, so it's not too, but it's too early for us to still to shout a huru. You know, I like to do these things to you, Bosu, because you know, look at it. The situation looks bleak to some people already, and they're already calculating the numbers, they're calculating the losses, and they feel to themselves that, hey, wait a minute, are you sure that this is one market that I want to keep my eye on going forward?
Somehow, there's always, at the end of the tunnel, there's always a silver lining. Somehow, things are going to taper off, whether we like it or not. There's going to be a silver lining. Somewhere, somehow, there will be a situation that will drive oil prices, but not the driving of oil prices that matters right now. What drives the market? How do you expand the oil market? Because everybody's producing. On the West Coast, Ivory Coast is looking for oil. Ghana is there. Guinea is looking into that. Cameroon is thinking of oil. So in the Angola is there. If you look at the West African zone, a little bit into Central Africa, you're going to have 7 or 8 oil producers in the very near future. That should be a major concern for Nigeria. Then you look outside, where do you find buyers? India, Indonesia, China.
Basically the Middle East.
Basically,
or Asia.
The Asia Pacific region, and that will be a key issue for us as, again, all these countries begin to look for alternative form of energy. Now, a good policy for us as a country will therefore need to look back inwards. Some folks are suggesting on social media, on Twitter, for example, over the last couple of days, perhaps we should put our refineries in order, tell those vessels to come back home, refine those products back here at home, and put them to domestic use, and because there's a huge domestic demand for petrol in Nigeria in terms of consumption. But again, you have to face another problem. Buying a liter of petrol at 100 or 120 naira per liter is not the same thing as selling a barrel of crude because of currency. Okay.
Well, see, food for thought.
Right.
Thank you so much for coming in. Thank you so much for coming on the program. Well, we'll take a quick break now on Business Morning, and when we come back, we turn our attention to another matter that has been hogging headlines in the last couple of days. Increase in bank frauds and how ICT enables